All right, guys, before I even get started, for the love of Christ Jesus above us and the heavens beyond, his kingdom come and his will be done, would you please, for the love of his blessings upon this earth, subscribe, like, and comment. The likes really help me in the algorithm. I do not take money from anybody. This is free advice. I probably will not get monetized. I do not expect it. So just throw me a like. That's all I ask for. Throw me a comment. That's all I ask for. And please subscribe. We're up to 925 subscribers, looking to get to 1,000 by midweek next week. Hit my 6-month goal. It's a very important thing to set goals that are achievable, because then it keeps you from procrastinating. I worked overnight last night, 8:30 p.m. to 11:30 in the morning. Went and got a pound of steak, grilled it up, ate it, so I would have the energy to get through this. If you're not going to die, you can do it. Don't fool yourself into thinking, oh, I'll do it tomorrow, because it'll become a habit, and you'll never get anything done. That's from personal experience, and I'm sure that everybody watching this knows exactly what the hell I'm talking about. So what I wanted to talk about today, and what my opening video was all about. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you watched it. If you did not, go back and watch it. I think it's pretty good. What is dilution? So dilution, in the simplest form, is, let's say you have a pizza. And you cut the pizza. It starts out with 10 slices, and you end up cutting another 50 into it. Your slice that was divvied up for you is going to get smaller, because you have to cut it in another 5 halves. So that's exactly what dilution is in the market. Is you have a share structure. The share structure has a certain amount of shares involved. If you add shares to it, if you add slices to the pie, your shares are going to become worth less. Just like the pizza becomes smaller, your equity becomes smaller in the company that you're invested in. So let's say, you know, within the share structure, sometimes I have to think on more in layman's terms, because I know a lot of people are new to this stuff, and you will not hear this on the boards. Pumpers will just tell you that dilution doesn't exist. Every company is there for your best interest. They're there for stockholder equity and nothing else. The complete opposite is true. In the share structure, you have an AS, an OS, and a free float. You have also held at DTC, which is pretty much your free float. In a lot of penny stocks, they won't even list it. They'll gag the TA, which basically means they'll tell the TA not to release the actual numbers so that they can do nefarious things behind closed doors. The lower the grade of stock you go, I'm talking about pink sheets here, the more that they can get away with. The higher you go, yes, if a Google dilutes shares, or if a CEO sells shares in Google, yes, chances chances are they're going to do a filing with the SEC that's going to show you that. The lower you go down, the more chance that they're going to bullshit you, go through a back door, and not have to file shit with the SEC, because in reality, the SEC doesn't give a shit anyway. They're in cahoots with all these private equity firms that do all the bad shit anyway. But yeah, back to the structure. AS, OS, and float. Just focus on those for now. Your AS is your available shares. Your God, I always think I'm not recording. The OS is your outstanding shares, and then your float is what's available to the public to buy. The OS, and what I mean by that is it's the common shares available to buy. So when you go to buy a share, that you're buying part of the float. If you are a private investor that comes in and wants to give them a $100,000 loan for a convertible note or preferred shares, that's part of the outstanding shares, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's part of the free float. Your outstanding, or the, I'm sorry, I'm tired. The AS available shares. Oh, dude, my mind is so tired. I just had to cut that video to think about what an AS is, and I know exactly what an AS is. This is where being tired can cause problems, but still, you push through till the job's done, and then you go to sleep and you get your rest. But either way, AS is authorized shares. It's what the company is authorized to print. So there's a cap on what they're authorized to print. That's why if they raise the AS, it causes a drop in the share price, because it's basically saying dilution is coming. We're not done. We still need to print shares to raise capital to push our endeavors, to keep operations going, to expand our infrastructure. So let's say a company has 300 million AS, they have 200 million OS, and the free float is, I don't know, 50 million. If the way to spot dilution is you go to otcmarkets.com, you look at their share structure, and you see, okay, this stock has 180 million shares. Now remember, if the TA is gagged, you're shit out of luck. You just kind of got to guess. But if they aren't gagged, the TA, then they will, it depends. I mean, they can do daily releases, they can do weekly, they could do monthly, they could do yearly. The updates on the OS. Again, the more frequently, the more transparent the company is. But if you see an OS go from a 200 million to 270 million, you're in trouble. That means that they're printing shares that are due to hit the market. And the float is usually never available in penny stocks, because they don't even want to show that the float is rising. They want people to go there, see a low number, buy into the story that it's a small float, when realistically it's a lot bigger than it is. So if the OS is rising, that's a problem. Now, if the OS gets to the AS, they could do one of two things. They could either raise the AS, as I said, that will obviously tank the price. People will see that and dump on your face. Or they could do a reverse split, which they take the amount of shares, they reduce them, but they raise the price. So if they do that, they usually go hand in hand if they're really a piece of shit company, and they'll raise the AS and drop the amount of the OS and raise the price. So let's say, I can't really think numbers right now, but if the price goes up to $1 from a penny because of a 1,000 to 1 reverse split, they can dump it all the way back to a penny. That's why, and because their AS is raised, so they can really boost up the dilution. So if you see a stock that reverse splits and then goes like this, reverse splits and then goes like this, that is the ultimate scam, because all they're really doing, they might not even have a product. They might not even have revenue at all. It might just be an idea still. But they come in, they sell a story, they reverse split, they send the price up, they dilute it all the way back down to nothing. Now, the problem with this is, for example, an ATDS. ATDS has done it so many times that it's lost shareholder confidence. Nobody wants to buy the stock anymore, and it's so thin because there's so few shares, because they've split it so many times. The bid and ask spread are so wide, it even deters people even more. So that's what dilution is. Why do they do it? I've spoke about this before, to raise capital to push their product, whatever that product might be. Maybe they don't even have one. Maybe they are just diluting just to go on a vacation with their wife. whatever it is, they're diluting for cash. They're taking money out of the market at the expense of shareholders. You're putting your faith in a company to make you money, to give you equity. But a lot of these penny stocks don't give a shit about you. I would say, in fact, 99.9, and that's might even be a low number, do not give a shit about your account. I can promise you that. Because, like I said, a lot of them do not have a stellar invention that under their wing, so they're just doing it to make money, or they are doing it to expand. You look at a bigger company like Moen that actually has a car. It costs a lot of money to run a car business. It costs a lot of money to advertise, to create the manufacturing companies. There's a tremendous amount of overhead. So that's going to lead to a tremendous amount of dilution. And a lot of people don't even think that way. They just think, oh, wow, it's a new car. It looks cool. It might compete. Yeah, well, how are they getting the money to expand? We all know that interest rates are through the roof. That's why we keep seeing bankruptcies and all these delistings, because smaller companies don't have the margins to keep up with the interest rates. So, you know, if let's say you have a $100 million loan, and that loan is at 1%, any dumbass could probably make $1 million off that $100 million to cover the spread. But if it goes up to $8 million, your margins might not be big enough, so you're going to go under. So the reason why I say that is because a lot of times these companies, knowing that, as soon as they get a pop in their stock, they're going to dilute. Because they need cash, and the forms that they could usually use, like a bank, aren't going to be there. So they're going to go super toxic. They're either going to go through convertible notes, through private equity and loan sharks, basically, or they're going to sell stocks into the market and dilute your bones to dust. It's realistically, that's what penny stocks are. That's why they're so big. That's why they're not illegal, is because there's so much money being made by the scammers behind the closed doors via private equity and these planted CEOs and all the operators of the company that they'll never be shut down. It's all a racket. It's all a joke. If the SEC really cared, penny stocks wouldn't exist. But again, they make it short from offshore accounts. It's a money maker for the elite. So that's what dilution is, why dilution happens, and the last thing I want to talk about is how to spot it, because a lot of people have no idea, and that was pretty much the premise of my my introduction video today, was the fact that people just don't know, in general, what they're even doing. They go to these stock twits boards. They see all these people pumping you into the top. They want to be part of the story. They want to be part of the fun. They're action junkies. They're gamblers. They have no idea what's going on behind the scenes. They trust everything that they hear on the internet, and they buy the top. They get dumped on, and then when I come to the boards and I say, hey, bud, dilution is happening. I've been doing this for 7 years in the OTC, where dilution is rampant, and I know how to spot it without having to see a filing, without having to, before it's too late, because by the time that the float is raised on OTC markets, if it ever even gets raised, it's already too late. You're already down 90%. Now what are you going to do? So you have to be able to see it. You have to understand that these things are pump and dumps. Look no further than TRKA. I hate to use that as an example because there's a lot of hurting people there right now. But I went on that board at 95 cents. I said, you better get out now. Chances are they're going to dilute. I was told to kill myself. I was told that I was a moron. I had no idea what I was talking about. They have to file with the SEC. There's no way that it could ever happen. I knew I was right. I knew they were going to dilute. Okay, there was way too much pump going on. A lot of those people are paid by these private equity firms to go on there and sell you. If you think that the market is just some la-di-da-di-da land, you're an idiot. The market is a place for sharks to eat people like you, the small fish. So you better swim behind them. In their wake, because if you're in front of them, they're going to eat you. But either way, I could see the dilution just by looking at the tape, just by watching the ticker, watching the bid wax, watching the tremendous amount of volume. Now, some people might say, oh, volume precedes price. Volume is a good thing. Not when it's dilution. Not when it's dilution, because your piece is getting smaller. And the price is going to drop inherently because the company, they don't care. The cost, it's free money. They don't have a price that they bought in at. So they don't care. And the private equity that has convertible notes involved or preferreds that are going to convert into commons, they don't care about the dump. Their conversion factors are at 0.001 and the price is currently at $1. So they could dump it all the way down to zero basically, and they'd still be at par value. So that's why you have to understand that these stocks, the people that are making them, don't believe in the story, believe in the destruction of the stock. I hate to say that and I hate to be so cynical, but they don't care about the stock. They care about the money that they're making and paying off their Mercedes 2023s with and their mansions on the coast in Costa Rica. That's all they care about. They don't care about you. And a lot of times they don't even care about the success of their company. So, and even ones that do, they'll still dilute to expand. So, I kind of went off on I can't even keep a train of thought here. I just know enough that I could do this pretty much in my sleep. So when I come on a board and I tell you that they're diluting, chances are that they are, and I was right in TRKA as I knew I would be, because then a day later when it was too late and everybody hadn't sold yet and were pissed off, boom, comes out that almost a double amount of shares were diluted into the bid those 2 days. So know how to spot it. 10K asks or 100 share asks, depending on the price of the stock. If they're getting hit and there's no movement, that's an iceberg order. Somebody went to a market maker and said, please sell my shares into the market because I have 1 billion shares to sell, and they don't want to sit there on their phone dumping. So they go to a market maker. They set it up to make it look like the ask is very thin. So you buy into it. It's all a scam. And they keep dropping. It's called the 10K shuffle. I call it the 10K shuffle. But it can be with any amount of shares. It's usually an even number of 1,000, 10,000, but it can be 50,000. Sometimes they do it to confuse you. If you're seeing multiple hits at that ask and there is no movement, it's dilution. If you see extreme bid wax with extremely high volume and there's no way profit takers are dumping like that, it's dilution. What's another form? T-trades, dilution. Cross trades during the day. A cross trade is when all of a sudden out of nowhere you'll be watching the tape and 50 million shares will show up on the volume, but the price will stay the same. That is a cross trade. T-trade after the market. If it's 5 minutes after the market closes and you have a 10 million share T-trade, that's dilution. Don't let anybody tell you differently. If it becomes in a form of a buy, and all of a sudden you closed at 5, 05, let's say, and 5 minutes after, now all of a sudden it's a 06, doesn't mean anything. The price is still 05, but there was dilution during the day, and that was accounted for at the end of it. So, and those are ways to make it seem like they're not diluting, but they are. It's unreal that companies can do this. I've thought about myself buying a shell for 200 grand, something clean enough, and selling a story. But I'm not my nose isn't huge, and I don't enjoy a bagel with whitefish. Now, that was extremely off topic, but all I can do is tell the truth. I might even have to bleep that out. But trust me, there are people against you, and they do not want to see you succeed. That's why retail is always in a state of distress, because they own the market, and if you do not play by their rules or don't even know what the rule book is, you'll be destroyed. Onto the chart. You like that white square, though. I know you do. Trust me, I blew myself away with it. I know you're thinking, oh, how do you ever think of that? His imagination is so far beyond anything I've ever witnessed in my life. It's a gift. I mean, I was born with this. I didn't, this wasn't learned. I didn't have to struggle. I didn't have to go to school for this. It's just natural. I'm naturally gifted in technology. But that doesn't really matter. What does matter is going over these charts, trying to figure out what's been going on with the market. I will be talking about SVB tomorrow, or maybe not tomorrow, but sometime this week, because I've spent 2 hours on the phone with somebody who knows what the hell they're talking about, has been studying money for his entire life. And we talked for about 2 hours on what we thought was going on. And yeah, I got a lot of good information coming your way. So we're going to start with SINT. Bad pullback, just because I'm surprised that it pulled back this hard. Now, obviously, Friday was a treacherous day in the market. I'd say 90% of my watch list was red. Very hard to catch a win on Monday, or I mean on Friday. I did buy the dip in this. I started at 286, which would have been a solid buy-in if it didn't turn out to be such a shitty day in the market. That was your first level of resistance or support, so I took a starter there, and then I scaled in at 271, went a little bit heavier there, brought my average down significantly, and then somehow it got to 248, which is unreal. I can't even believe it. But again, probably dilution, can't lie. But either way, this company has a lot going for it. You still got to zoom out and see the fact that the trend is still up. It's really just pretty much at this middle band. It just got oversold a little bit because of the fear. But I do expect a bounce back on Monday. It could even gap up on Monday. You never know. You never know if you're going to get news. You never know if you're going to get an offering. It could gap down 30%. But I do like the buy-in currently because it is sitting at that middle band. Your technicals are very, very good. They're just starting to turn up off bottom. There is a gap at $6 right around that area. So it very well easily could go up there. It's a very thin float. So, anything could happen to the downside or the upside. Just be very careful with things like that. Make sure that you have a position that's easily liquidated. And what I mean by that is don't kill yourself with size. Don't buy so many shares that it's going to be hard to get out if you do need to dump. But SINT looks good from the current price for Monday. PLPL. Now, this one looks very, very good. Reminds me of MWWC that ran recently. This is only up 50%. MWWC is up, I don't know, almost 300%. So that's off the table for me at the current price. But we're talking about PLPL here. I do like it. I see this as extremely bullish. I'm going to try and soak up fives on Monday. If I see the sixes get knocked down with force, I might take my starter there and just ride it. Your technicals are not overbought in any sense. Your RSI is a little bit hot. That's why I think there will be a little bit of a sell-off in the morning, and I'm not choosing to chase, especially until I've seen what's going to happen as far as the inflow and outflow. So you have this pop on the MACD, looks really good. This could easily go up very high. You have the RSI still not in the boiling hot zone, but getting there. So this stock looks very, very good. A lot of volume, 420 million volume, which isn't, the most I've ever seen, but at the same time, it's clearly more than it is recently. So a very good stock to own on Monday, PLPL. MWWC. Yeah, I mean, this was a great buy at 2, but now it's currently at 7. One of my subscribers, Bustaheads, he actually recommended this, but when I saw this, I only saw below these 2 lines. So I only saw this, and I'm like, I don't know, it just looks like a dead stock. Like, yeah, there's a little bit of volume brewing, but I didn't see it like exploding. But it's because of the catalyst that had come out. Apparently, it's probably, I don't even remember what he said, but whatever it is, it's a story. It's the beginning of the story. It's the first chapter. Will they close? Is it only going to be 2 chapters? Is it going to be 10 chapters? That's still to be seen. But I'm not going to buy at the end of the first chapter because that's these 2 big candles here. Listen, could it keep running? Is it bullish? Yes. The volume's there to push it. Yes. There's a lot of hype, a lot of interest on the stock. But just remember, do not chase these. Don't even go to the boards as a noob trader and see what people are saying because they're going to give you wild price targets that don't make any sense. They're selling Monday and they're telling you to buy because they want their ass hit. They want you to sell you their shares. It's all lies and games. So don't fall into a trap here. Can it keep going? Of course. I just think it's way extended. I think that you could have a blow off top in the morning by the noobs, by the suckers and the sheep that are going to buy straight up in the morning thinking they're going to catch more of the run, which they could, but chances are it's going to go up a tick or two and then get slammed on your dome. So definitely don't buy at the ask on a trip stock after a 300% run, okay? That's just common sense, but a lot of people don't know that. They just go to the boards and listen to whatever the hell somebody's saying. FORZ. Someone said that this might squeeze, but they were like, I don't know. This is another one. This is actually this is probably even better than PLPL because it's only up 33%, one tick in trips. You had a lot of volume. I'll have to look at the share structure here and see how ballooned it is and how fat it is. It probably is pretty heavy, but 138 million shares moved at a tick. Again, that's not life-changing amount of money. I think that's what probably 350 grand, so still a lot for a trip stock, especially or no, that's only 35, that's like $35,000, so not a lot. Someone said, is this going to be a short squeeze? There is no such thing as shorts in penny stocks. The only type of shorts are naked shorts. They don't even need to fucking cover, so don't worry about this bullshit. Don't worry about it. There's the short squeeze. If you're hearing about a short squeeze, it already happened. Okay, it's already up 300%, and that's just the final. That's the final chapter of the story to get you sucked in. There's just no. Okay, just no. Especially in a penny stock. But this one is starting to heat up. I'm going to go to this board. I'm going to see what people are saying, and then I'm going to filter through that, listen to the bearish comments, listen to the bullish comments. I never listen to one side. I always listen to both and then make the best decision based on my own DD. LSRV. Why can I never find this? I always write it in wrong. Okay, so LRSV, this one had a very good run recently. It did have a pullback up here, but it's very light volume actually once it got to the top. So it's telling me that there's not a lot of sellers. I hate to be bearish on this, but I don't love this candle. I don't hate it either. It very well could run from here, but you're getting it, like, I think that it could potentially get to a penny psychological barrier and then have a pullback. I will not enter until it has a pullback, strictly because I do not chase in a bearish market, especially. Does not mean that this can't keep running. Does not mean that this can't look a lot like EPAZ the other day, where it had a pullback near the top and it did run again. It's just, we'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see. Your technicals look good. There's nothing really on that other than your RSI being kind of hot. So we'll have to see what happens on Monday. It obviously something's going on with the stock because it is showing bullish signs. We'll have to see where it goes. CDSG. This one has a lot of green candles recently, but you are currently up a significant amount. You're up about 400%. I do think this has a top max gain of 24 cents. Clearly, they're not diluting, or else this would have already tanked. If you want to buy at 16.4 to scalp it to 24, hopefully it gets there. Maybe not a bad idea. It only had 1 day of consolidation and just kept going. So that shows me, again, no dilution. But I hate this MACD. I hate the RSI. If you're in, you better get out quick. VS. And remember, guys, I could always sit here and tell you that everything's going to be good. I would get more followers making people lose money. Not that I make people make money. My picks have been kind of shit recently. I've been even over the past 7 trading days, but whatever. It's a bear market. But I could sit here and lie my ass off, and that's not something I'm willing to do, because I do have integrity and honor, and I don't want to steer people in the wrong direction like I was when I started. VS looks very good here. You have a close above this middle band. You're kissing the top band. You're looking like a W here. This thing could really go. I like the technicals, both ends. I like this stock a lot. It just needs to keep up momentum, get a little bit more volume coming in. That's really what it's lacking. It's volume. You get that, you're good. ONCS. This one looks incredible. You have a perfect consolidation bull flag. You did not fill this gap, but it's so high, I don't see it coming back to it at any time, barring any extremely bad news. You get a break above this top, around 265s or so. With volume, you could take the next leg. That could go all the way up to $5. Who knows? But all I know is it looks very good from the current standpoint. As far as your RSI and MACD, they're very, very good. You had tried to respect this middle line, but it's too bullish to even pull back to that. I think it's ready to go again. I think this is a very good stock to own. I've owned it in the past. I can't believe it came all the way down to 92 and I missed it. I was in it for this rise and I sold it on this drop, and I should have paid attention to it. I should have kept, but this thing looks very, very hot in a good way. IBIO. This thing is headed on a trend, obviously, a trend upwards. You had this pullback, the pop, this pullback, the pop. This pullback's getting even tighter. It's not as much of days to get back to the roof. I think that this thing could really blow the hell up. I think that this was 2 days that they just basically scared out retail, because that's basically their job, is to get you to buy the top, sell the bottom so they can make money in between. But this thing came back and it looks bullish again. GTII. Sorry guys, again, I am usually more enthusiastic, kind of screaming my head off here and making jokes, but I just do not have it, and I have 40 more stocks to go over, so bear with me here. Hopefully I'm not too boring. This is GTII. This thing looks good. That's why I picked it, because it rode this middle band and then it's starting to release again. This could do just like this did where it ran. It could do it again. This could be another spike. You have this. It could be a third one for the third wave on the Elliott. You're looking pretty good here. AAPJ. This is one that I talked about rising on Friday, and it did 12%, not life-changing, but this thing looks really freaking good right here. Your first resistance was hit at a penny. That's a psychological barrier. It breaks through that. I don't see a lot of resistance above that. I guess your next would be 2. That's 100% gain from a break of 1. Not a bad return on investment, if you ask me. Let me look at our technicals here. What did I do? Where did the technicals go? Please just be here. Oh, come on. Did I like exit out of them? Hold on, folks. And you can always use any of these indicators in here. I just choose to use the ones that I use. Wait, what? Why, guy? Like, why? This has never happened to me, and you're gonna happen now? Are you fucking kidding? Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I know. I have the subscription, you piece of shit. Okay, now you're gonna start to piss me off. Okay? How in God? Why, God? Like, what? Why, dude? Why? Now I can't even go over the RSI in the. Oh, this is going to piss me off, man. This is going to piss me off. Why won't you show up? I already have a. What are you talking about? I am logged into my current account. What is this? You know what? This is going to. Okay, I got to end the video. This is going to piss me the fuck off, because I mean, that was just unreal. That really, really, really got under my skin because I'm on edge right now. But like, I don't even know how that happened, but it's beyond my comprehension. Again, technology is just not advanced enough for me. Whatever, I'll get over it. So AAPJ, thank God I even figured this out. This thing looks really, really good, folks. I mean, Jesus, this thing is breaks one with volume. You're going to two, in my opinion. HNRC. I actually traded out of this one on Friday just because like I really wanted to take my gain. I had like 25%. I know that little candle got me like 20%, which is fine, But now in hindsight, this thing could be ready to break out for real. You get a break above and a close above, let's say 15, you could be on a major, major run here, and any volume makes it go. Your technicals are, I probably shouldn't have sold this. It might even be looking to re-enter, hopefully, even around 12. I think that this has potential to get to at least 20, maybe 30. And maybe even 70 with the right news. There is dividend news due to come out with an acquisition, so we'll have to see how that one plays out. Very thin stock, very good stock. Bed Bath & Beyond, piece of shit. Don't even know how it's still not, it's not underwater. But you are getting a reversal candle down here, and you are oversold on your techs. You could at least get to 161. I would say max gain for the short term is 217, which is a good ROI, especially for a big board stock. But play it with caution. This thing, it's a part of the broader market, and the broader market has been getting destroyed. So, and I don't expect any let up from that. We'll have to see. TRKA. This is the one I called out. This is dilution, folks. Like, you don't just have a drop from 99 to 42, and then actually it went all the way down to 26 in pre-market. So, or in pre-market or aftermarket, whatever it was. Either way, this thing, it's dilution, and that came out. And technically, your technicals are just starting to peak down. I do not think this is bottom. I think that this is going to get to 15 cents, to be honest with you. That's when I'll rebuy. I do not like this here at all. I'm looking at this previous support right here as an entry point, and that's at 15. Give me 15 over the next couple of days. You get there slowly, I'll buy in. That's why we set alerts. I'll set alert for 15. If that alert goes off, I already know it's a good price. We're good to go. But yeah, I mean, that's dilution for you folks. SRTY, very, very sexual, called this one out. I'm not in love with the price just because, this thing isn't like a super runner, so it's not going to make you $1 million overnight, but it is a very good stock to hold. I think the 56 cents is the next stop. Or $56. So you're definitely going to get some upward movement in this. Your volume is peaking up. Your RSI isn't overbought, and your MACD isn't overbought, but they are encroaching on it. And I just think that this is a very large run. I think that you will get a resistance at 5.6, and then you can make the decision there whether you want to sell or hold long. That's completely up to you. Just like every decision you make in the market is completely up to you. Don't let anybody tell you differently. Don't let anybody sway your decisions in any way, including myself. Just do your own thing. AWON. This thing is a pennant like you read about, coming back. First, finally kiss that middle band that's just creeping up ever so lovely. When this thing goes, it's going to take the next leg pretty strongly because of all these days of consolidation. This is looking very good. I think that it's ready to go within the next few days. VDRM. This thing is looking like it wants to pull back, but I guess retail is just saying no. Not that there's a lot of money traded in this per day. It's about $30,000 is the average cash volume. So it's not a lot of liquidity in this. Make sure that if you do buy it, you buy a low amount of shares so you can get out and in quickly and easily. This thing is
not the sexiest thing I've ever seen on the technicals. I'm not in love with it. And you do have a huge gap down here at 0.006, which for a penny stock is not that hard to reach. You're going to at least reach this middle band. I think, I mean, but here's the thing is the fact that it has consolidated higher on this ascending wedge is bullish. It's just that I'm not going to take a gamble in the current state of the market, like I always say. So, this is, can it keep rolling? Is it having higher lows? Yes. But we'll have to see where this is going to go. I hope that anybody invested makes a shit ton of money. ABQQ. This one came back down to this middle band. Very good, very good. Did have a pretty strong run on Friday, at least 30% or 40%, whatever that is. And you came back to this previous line of resistance. This wick looks literally the same. I would say if you get any, I think that 5 is going to be, a very good buy-in. I think that 6 might even be a good buy-in. I think this thing is ready to wake up. I think this is going to be a W formation. I think that the next stop is going to be 13, and that's currently over a double from where we sit. PPCB. This one is flagging as well. You have this trend line coming here. You have this trend line coming here. That's why when you do that, you're saying, oh, it's oversold down here. That's why you buy. That's why I was telling people to buy 4 and 5. It didn't run to 9. That was a double from my call. Pulled back to this middle band. Now it's looking kind of bullish again. It might need another couple days of consolidation to really work this pennant out, and then it could either go up or it could go down. I know that that's pretty much common sense, but at the same time, I think with the bullish news that have been coming out, I think that with the interest and the amount of people that are watching this now, you get any type of inflow, and this thing runs. TPTW, watch this one closely. I think I'm not going to buy this unless there's news and I don't see dilution. I did flip it from 13 to 14. Wow, but whoop-de-doo. I know it's not that much, but at the same time, like, I'm taking all gains at all costs right now. I don't care if I'm a burger boy. I don't care if I'm poor. Or if you call me poor, whatever it is. I'm doing what I need to do to keep my account in check. This thing had good volume, touched 16 almost on Monday. I keep saying fucking Monday. Oh my God, my brain hurts. And this thing is itching me. It's itching me. Okay, now I'm starting to get angry because I'm really tired. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Halfway there. So this thing, if it breaks 16 with vengeance and gets above 18, your next stop, so your stops are 16, 18, 22, 23. And then maybe 25 too. So it's a very tight range of resistances. So if you break through those, but if you do break through those, it's blue sky. So if they just hold off on the dilution for 15 freaking seconds, which it has dumbed down, it's not as aggressive. So I don't think they have as many shares to dilute as they once did. Now that might be out of the way, that might be what they're waiting for so that they can release news. Again, this is something to know, something to think about, because if you do gauge that, then you might be able to buy at the low and sell, a lot higher, because you might say, oh, wow, they're almost done with dilution. This breaks these resistances. I'm very happy to buy in at the top of that candle because the next resistance isn't realistically to 7.5. So it could be an easy double even from buying the high of the first day's run. The first run's day? No, the first day's run. English isn't in my brain anymore, apparently. BRBL. Just pick this one up on volume. I don't think that it's one of the shittiest stocks because of dilution. But you did get 520 million volume. Now again, that's only a trip 2, so it's really not like insane. It's like 100 grand, but why? I mean, why is it getting volume right now? I'm not sure. I'm going to want to see some type of continuation. Also, it's a very bloated pig, so it takes a mountain to move it. But, you get that mountain in the right timing, in the right place, with the right story and the right sheep to lead the herd, then this thing could run soon as well. Keep it on your watch list, set your alerts, watch the volume, and go from there. LUNR. This one did bottom out, filled this gap right here, then popped off of it, tried to get back to this middle band in 2 days, didn't. But I like the high level consolidation. The fact that it closed green on a very red day and did not pull back very hard shows that it's still bullish. It could easily get to $22 from 15. That's a very good ROI. Keep that on your watch list. MYO, MYO. This one had a pullback. It's, you know, you're at this previous resistance that broke and then pulled back again. It's getting a lot of heat here, but I think that this thing could be the next TRKA, to be honest, because I keep hearing it scammed on the boards and it's not overbought yet, technically. It's trying to scare people out here like it's going to come back to this middle band. You see another green candle that goes up to like 80 cents and closes there or above it, you're in breakout mode. IMP. This thing has been beaten down to a pulp. It's unbelievable that it's down here. Unreal. I mean, obviously probably dilution, but it's an oil stock that's oversold. I mean, it's oversold no matter how you look at it. This might have been the final dump to get people scared out, close a little bit above it. Now it might reverse. This does look like a reversal hammer, so I don't see an issue with buying it here, especially if you're only looking for 22 to 17, which is still a good ROI. No matter what people tell you, I would get in here and sell there if you are planning on buying the stock, but that's just my advice. Again, you have to do what you want to do. It is your life. You take it into your hands. Don't let anybody steer you differently. DOMA has been beaten down too much. It's oversold now on your MACD and your RSI. You're currently, if you follow this horizontal line, you're almost at bottom. I think you might get a little bit of a sell-off in the morning, shake people out on Monday, and it's going to shake and bake. You get another reversal candle again that fills this body up, engulfs this candle previously. You're looking at 60 potential on the reversal, which is 50% from the current price. A very good ROI as well. SIVB. This is what I'm going to be talking about in my upcoming video. This is, you know, I don't even want to step into it right now because I'll start going off on a tangent and I can't because I have to go to sleep before I die. But this thing, absolutely monstrous gap down. Absolutely monstrous, treacherous drop, and there is no resurrection. I do not think that they're going to get bailed out. I do think that this was a hit piece by your bigger banks to get rid of them. It's basically like, again, I can't get into this, but at the same time, this is a bank. This is what happened in 2007 before the market crashed. Banks pretty much went underwater because of mortgages and loans that they had given out that the people couldn't afford. So they Again, slow down. I really don't have much time to talk about this. I'm going to dedicate an entire video to this, but this is a very bad sign. This could be a domino effect. This could start happening again where there needs to be bailouts and we print more money, raising inflation. It's going to be, I think that if the Fed eases now, I think this is going to be a sign that this was a hit piece. Because then that makes money cheaper, interest rates lower, so these bigger companies and corporations can get their loans lower. That's all I'm going to say about that right now. EPAZ. Pullback on Friday, as I would have obviously guessed it. But look, I mean, you look kind of like this, kind of like that. This thing did pull back a hard 30%. I think that you might get another dip, maybe down to 11.5. Again, I'm not sure. This is a little extended for me. I'd rather see it consolidate a little bit here because when these stocks run really fast like this, they're going to get profit takers. I do not see this company as dilutive yet, but I don't love the MACD. I like the RSI. I like the volume. I like the fact that it did have a higher low. I like the fact that the high was pretty much the same, although people sold immediately. It might be overdone, though. Maybe that new buyers stepped in. Those old buyers are out. If they're not currently diluting, you have a very good chance of going up again. But again, I want to see consolidation first before I buy. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to miss this, and whoever's in it is going to make more money. CGRA. And this is why we flip. I bought this during this. Run at, what did I buy it at? I bought it at 3. After I saw this nice move, it broke above, what did it break to? Oh yeah, so I made 25% on this. Pretty much bought 3, sold 4. If I had not had done that, it's currently at 0.014. So I'd be down 50%. I'd be hoping on 100% gain just to get back to my average. This thing is free falling. Your RSI is turned down. Your MACD is turned down. These are not good signs. I'm not in love with this stock in any way, shape, or form. The guy Nick Line is a known scammer. All of them are. So don't feel like you're in a stock that's any different from the others. But this thing doesn't look great. I just wouldn't buy this until I see this way oversold, although you never know. I mean, this thing could back up and go to 227. You're currently at 14, so you're looking at 80% there, but I'm just not going to take a chance with all these other good options on the table. OCEA, OCEA. Beautiful pullback to this middle band. You do have a big gap here. OCEA ran. I saw it at 7.2. Did not buy it. Missed out on the run, but that's fine. It pulled back to this middle band. And again, never get FOMO like, oh, I missed it. It doesn't matter, dude. Find something else. It's pulled back to this middle band. You're going to want to hold this price. You do not want to break below 17 and close below it because then it might be filling this gap all the way back down to 5. Be very careful. This is a very volatile stock, as you can see. Very thin, not a lot of shares on the structure. Goes through volume spikes and then dies completely. As far as volume goes, your technicals are way all over the place. This is a very tough chart to read. It's more of a gamble than an educated guess. KITL. This one is trying to flag ascending triangle. Maybe a little bit, I'm giving it a little bit much, saying it's an ascending triangle. But as you can see, this one pulled back hard. This one's getting a little bit more bullish up top, which is surprising. You did close down here, so you want to hold this price. You do not want to break down a little bit because you're going back to 3 if that's the case, and that's a pretty significant drop from the current price. You're either going to buy right around 3.3. I would say that area by the time this line goes up there, this line will have come down. I'd say look for 3 to 3.3 to enter, set your alerts there. If it continues to consolidate here on this ascending wedge, then if you do break out on 6 with volume, you could be headed a lot higher. That could happen sooner than you think, or it could pull back to the middle line and you're going to want to get out before that happens. SEII. This one is just tremendously oversold, super thin float. I'm pretty good with this one. I made money on it twice. I made money on it on this run. I made money on it on this run. And now it's very, very low. It closed at 13. Well, so obviously dilution is going on. Nobody's selling for this big of a loss. There'd be no reason to. I'd have to look at when the last time that their share structure was updated. If you're currently in the stock, please leave comments. But that goes for everybody that's watching this. If you're in any of these stocks, please drop the DD. I'll do the charting. You give me the upcoming catalyst, what's in the pipeline. Tell me if they've updated the share structure. Give me the bullet points. But this thing is looking way oversold to me, especially for a very small float. But that could also be because their product is just not working, and they're just like, screw it, let's get out of this shell and go into another one. JAGX, I've never seen anything like this. I mean, I'm not even calling this a green day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 straight red days. RSI at 11.5. Never seen that. Your MACD's curling up for some reason. I think the fact that this had so many red days in a row, it like literally broke the technical analysis. It doesn't even make sense because your MACD should not be turning up as your RSI is dropping to significant lows. Keep an eye on this one though, because obviously it's oversold. Now the CEO is an absolute joke. I think it's a transsexual. I think they call her Jen Cunty because I think her last name is literally Cunte. So they just emphasize the first 4 letters. But she is. I mean, I think she still makes $1.4 million a year, and she clearly does not give a shit about her stock. Probably doesn't make any. It doesn't make any moves in it. It's just a money grab for her. But they're going to need to get this price up sooner or later. This is another stock that goes through plenty of RSs and drop down through dilution. I mean, it's just an absolute. It's ridiculous that the price is here and it just keeps going down. But what smells like shit usually is shit, right, guys? ETAO. ETOAO. You want to hold this position. You do not want to do this. You do not want to do this. You don't want to do this. Okay, so you want this to settle here or maybe a little bit lower and then form a W and pop up hard. You are oversold on your technicals pretty significantly. So I would say if you are buying here, you're in very, very good territory. I do not see this coming down more. I do not see this coming down more. I think that this is a very good time to buy for ETAO. And if not, maybe hold. Now, remember, I don't know anything about that stock. I'm just going off technical analysis. So you have to take it from here and do the DD and make a decision based on that. DBGI, this one looks like a very good price here. Had a pullback at 10% after a good pop. I think that this thing could get going here. Again, a lot of eyes on this, a lot of spam coming out on the boards. I see it everywhere. So that means that they're going to try and run a story here. You are trying to hit a trend. I would say that 130 would be a perfect buy-in. If you can get that price, 130, 131, 132, you should be safe there. And you're looking at a run potentially to 226, 284, somewhere in that range, short term. That is a very good return on investment, 100% potential, which is what we look for. I look for 30%, but I'm saying if doubling your money is the way to go. You double your money from 10 grand to 20, 20 to 40, 40 to 80. Things really start to hike up quick, especially if you get one beaten down, you get the right formula. Maybe it is okay to go for 100. Maybe you found the right stock, but just play it by ear and go according to the daily chart, the 30-minute chart, whatever. Whenever you see weakness, that's when you exit. NVOS. I like NVOS here. I like it a lot because it's finally pulled back to this middle band. You have 4 straight really, really red days. Your technicals are pretty much flatline. There's not really much going on. You did have this spike in the RSI. It's cooled off back to like 50, which is a very good stabilization zone. Your MACD is not overbought in any way. You do have this drop off in volume, but this is a very good place to buy. I would say 13.5 is perfect. I told you guys back on this candle, wait for 13.5 to 14 and boom, look at where we're at. LT, another example of a brilliant pullback to the middle band. It's always a very good indicator of a place to buy. Usually, sometimes it goes below it, and that can be a problem. But this thing had a huge pop, pulled back, shook out retail, then went above it, pulled back, shaking out retail. I think this looks a lot like SINT. I think that this could run again on Monday. I think the market as a whole will have a bit of relief. Probably going to end up being a bull trap, but that'll give people the option to get in, get out at this middle band and out wherever you want to go. I do find LT is on a upward trend. The trend is your friend, and it's a very good company, and it's an actual company that I know people that use their products. GDVM. I love how I did my longest video. Literally, I think this is going to be the longest video I've ever made, and I've made over 100 on the day that I can't see straight. Brilliant. GDVM, again, I told you, it's going back to this middle band, 945. You should sell at 94, in my opinion. 92, 93, doesn't matter. If you got in at 728, that's all you need. Could it break above this middle band? Yeah, sure. Could it run back to the all-time highs? Yeah, sure. But it's not very often you see this and this. Like, you're going to see this. You're going to see it come down to this trend line, max. So this is going to, like, if you draw a triangle here, that's where it's going to go max. I think it's going to go up to here. I think that your technicals are very oversold, so you have a very strong chance of even breaking the middle band. But play it safe, be nimble in a market so treacherous. Get your 30% and run for the hills. And if it keeps going, just remember, when you go to work and you work 12 hours, you don't sit there on your drive home and say, well, I could have worked 50 hours. No, the hours weren't available. So when you sell a stock, act the same way. It's like leaving work. You're done for the day. You made your money, and no matter what happens after that, you're not, it doesn't matter. None of this shit matters. They make you think that it's going to matter because they want you to feel a part of it and marry it. So it's like getting a divorce. And that's why people just don't want to sell because they don't want to divorce something that makes them feel good, right? You want to divorce if something makes you feel bad. That's why people tend to sell the bottom because they're so sick of looking at the losses and they get so scared and they're so pissed. That's when they sell. That's not the right idea. You want to sell when you're excited, not when you're angry. Moan, unbelievable. I mean, Jesus Christ. Guys, it's got to be getting close to bottom. Small caps have been absolutely annihilated. This is nobody else's fault aside from the economies and the governments and the feds. Also, the company, they haven't been bringing too much shareholder value. You've completely lost this uptrend now, but it's too oversold. It's just, this is a good time to buy. I told my subscribers, I thought it was going to start getting accumulated here right under 20. It's only down to 17, so it's not like it's lost all of its value, but I would scale in. Just keep scaling in. Don't even go 10% loss on this because it's just too oversold. I just don't see it. Like, it has too much of a cult following. People love this stock. I see a lot of people on StockTwits who are morons that have Moan in their name. I'm sorry to anybody that does that, and I apologize. You're not a moron. Please subscribe. But at the same time, like, let's not get so involved in a stock that we literally base our entire alias upon its name. That is no way, shape, or form to handle a penny stock. You got to flip in and out of these turds because if you don't, you're going to end up being the piece of shit. 10x. Now, this thing really ran after hours as well. You had a good amount of volume. One of my subscribers, Jilly, she bought into this, or she told me about this on this initial pop, but clearly they diluted on the news. They ran it down 2 more days, and then they popped it. Again, shook out retail, sent it, and now it's looking at 75. I think that's actually where it closed on the gap up. So this thing could have a lot of strength. I'm not saying that it's going to. I wouldn't buy unless it fills gap. I would say 60 cents is where I'm looking to buy. 62 would be where I'd start, and then I'd stop at 55. I think that it has the potential to do that on a pullback before it keeps going, and it very well likely could keep going, but I don't want to chase it. I'd rather buy in at a good price so that I stay green longer instead of having to deal with an entire day of being red, only trying to fight back out of the hole. GMNI. This thing looks pretty good. One of my busted heads called this one out again. I'm just not in love with this volume. Please let me know what's going on. I don't know if this was the one or it was MDCE. In fact, I think it was MDCE. I don't have any DD on this as of now. So if anybody does, please let me know. And because your MACD looks very good, your RSI looks very good. This thing has consolidated for a while and it looks to be breaking out of that consolidation range. So it could be a very good buy here, depending on the upcoming catalyst. Is something going to come out in a couple weeks? Because if that's the case, then it should rise into the news, buy the rumor, and sell the news. MDCE. I guess the CEO did buy 4 million shares, but a lot of times that these operators buy 4 million shares is because they want to rinse it. They want to basically give you a catalyst out of thin air. They'll buy the shares because they're extremely cash positive in their own bank account. They'll post it, get people excited. Why did he buy shares? Why did he buy shares? Get the price to go up, and then he dumps on you. So I wouldn't always look at the CEO buying shares, especially in a penny stock, as a good thing, because now I really hope it's this stock. Sorry, I have to review 150,000. I can't keep track of the DD on every one, but I'm pretty sure this is the one that bought shares. Again, OBSV was the most recent one that I saw where it ran on someone buying shares right before they get delisted. What happens? First of all, he's trying to liquidate his shares, so you're not just going to like dump them into the bottom. You're going to come out with something that's going to make people think that the earnings are good or there's something coming up that's good. It's going to send the price, then he dumps it, and he liquidates, and you guys are all stuck in a bag. And then the stock gets delisted, and you're fucked for life. Excuse me. And I already went over FORZ. Oh, mamacita, mamacita. Bless me, O Lord, for now I sleep. See, did I want to do that? Absolutely not. But guess what? There's always an end to the day, okay? And when you're at work and you don't want to be there, just remember that eventually it'll be over. When you're on your 18th hour at work, and there will eventually be over. I've done 36-hour shifts before, okay? And I wanted to, my nipples were chafing so hard I could have cut glass. But at the same time, eventually that ended, clearly, because I'm still here and I'm alive. So just just do what you got to do throughout your day. Do not procrastinate. And just remember that dilution is going to be rampant upcoming. I do see a lot of money flowing into the OTC right now because of the fact that the bigger boards are losing value dramatically. So you're going to get a lot of people going into more speculative play just because if you're going to take the gamble, you might as well take it on something that you could get a higher ROI on. A lot of people are out of the big boards because they're not making money and they're going to go into the OTCs just like I am. Until tomorrow, not tomorrow, tomorrow's Sunday. I do have to work tomorrow night and Monday night, and then I have off for the foreseeable future. So we will see when my next video comes out. I'm planning Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but we'll have to wait and see. Dilution sucks. Avoid it at all costs. Avoid it like the plague, people.